After weeks of confusion capped by riots, the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology (KNUST) is to be reopened tomorrow. Professor Kwasi Obiri-Danso remains the Vice-Chancellor, and the contentious issues of conversion of single-sex to mixed halls remains unresolved. Today, Chancellor of the school, Asantehene Otumfuo II, announced the restoration of normalcy to the university's main campus after government presented 4 new individuals to replace its representatives on the council, which was dissolved. Shortly, we'll be live at the Kwame Nkrumah University campus for what's happening there. Watch this swearing-in video.
Preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. As by law.
I'm sure you witnessed what happened. Good sense has prevailed, and we are very happy that it has come this way. We thank the government of Ghana for listening to all the stakeholders, and also thank the Chancellor also for taking the steps to ensure that we have what we had this afternoon. In all, I will say we are very happy as an institution. Academic work is going to begin. The students are supposed to return on Friday for academic work to begin on Monday. So in all, I think it's a very good event. It's welcoming.
The students start coming in from tomorrow, but that is a matter that council is now discussing in closed doors. So we are expecting that once that is done, the Vice Chancellor will come out and make an announcement, of course, as head of management. And then we expect that it wouldn't be too long. We hope that within this week, the students will be back for the academic calendar to continue. It's the National Secretary UTAG. I think that what we have witnessed today with the inauguration of the government reps, and as you are aware, government withdrew its nominees that were on the council. And so with the inauguration of the new people who are on the council has been fully reconstituted. And that is what we have been expecting since the mayhem broke out somewhere about 2-3 weeks ago. And so we are saying that as a national body of UTAG, we are grateful to government, we are grateful to management, we are grateful to, especially to the Chancellor, for leading this reconciliation process and getting the first thing of reconstituting the council done. And as he indicated in his speech, this is just the first step so that we can get students back to academic life to begin, for normalcy to come to campus, so that the other processes can begin. The constitution of a committee to go into the matter so that we can find an amicable solution, so that we don't have these things reoccurring or even repeating itself here in KNUST or any other place. So we hope that under the leadership of the Chancellor, these measures will be put in place so that we can have peace on our campuses, academic freedom will be enhanced, and people will have the freedom to go about their duties. Of course, all students, lecturers will have peace to go about their normal duties, and that is what we want.
So there is a UTAG representative there amongst those who've been speaking to us on the reopening of the KNUST. Editor here at JoyNews, Fred Smith, is here with me in the studio. He has some background. Fred, take us to what you have.
Well, indeed, it's important to update everybody on why we are where we are today. So some time ago, the University Council decided that they wanted to convert all single hall, well, initially it was male halls, into mixed halls, because they thought that the masculinity was growing and they were developing some culture of silence amongst them. So they needed to neutralize that by mixing them with the female counterparts.
Was that the main reason that the lecturers or the university authorities gave for the action?
Well, initially that was the reasons they gave. Then subsequently, they said that they had to include more females or encourage more female students to come to the university and also have space to study. And so subsequently that happened. The all-female hall was also converted, and so every hall at the university is currently converted. Students were not happy with this, and so they started agitations. They petitioned a number of people. The matter even ended up in court. So I do understand that the alumni also joined in this agitation and even petitioned the president. You recall when the president was in New York for the UN summit, the alumni met with him and also raised that concern again, that they wanted the president to intervene and get the university halls, the decision by the university to convert all single-sex halls to mixed halls back to their original state. That hasn't happened, but the agitations continued, and one day, October 22, we heard the students were embarking on a peaceful protest, which turned violent. Lots of property were destroyed on the university's campus, and the government stepped in. Initially, we had the Regional Security Council for Ashanti. They stepped in and announced the closure. Later, we had the government delegation. They announced that the University Council had been dissolved and that a new one will be constituted. And then they also had the ordered a reopening of the university within a week. That did not also happen. Later we heard Otumfuo come to say, well, he is intervening in the matter, and so government gave him the go-ahead to do that. That has also prolonged, but today there's a solution.
But it's instructed to also indicate that Otumfuo is the
chancellor for the university. Indeed. So he's been able to come to some conclusion, but the unions have stuck to their guns. They said that they're not going to withdraw any of their members who were on the university's council.
Which is what government wanted to do.
Which is what government wanted to do. So what happened eventually was that all the unions, UTAG, TEWU, and others, maintained their members on the council, except the government has 4 places on the council, and they brought them, and government representatives also will chair that council that has been inaugurated today.
So, as you heard the UTAG representative saying, this is something that reinforces academic freedom. And the point about the academic freedom is that they had insisted that they wanted their members to remain on the council, something government did not want. So, Fred, do we know what went into government finally agreeing to allow these unions maintain their own members?
That has not been made public yet, but we know a lot went on behind the scenes, and because the lecturers were right in what they were saying, that UTAG, for instance, their representative on the council should be the president of UTAG. So it's by the UTAG constitution. It will be very difficult for the government or any other person to change the constitution for them. Otherwise, UTAG can take you on and go to court. So it appears that the government has made some compromise because legally what they were asking for was not tenable. All
right, Fred, thank you very much for that background. Fred Smith is the editor here at JoyNews. He's also the producer for this show, bringing us those that information that helps you grasp the background to which we're, telling this story today. Well, let's go live now to Kumasi and speak to Kwasi Deborah. Kwasi Deborah has been following this story since it started. Kwasi, tell us a little bit more about the composition of this new council.
Hello,
Kwasi, a bit more about the composition of this council.
I can't hear you well. Can you come again?
Tell us a bit more about the composition of this council.
Yeah, so we're talking about, we're having 15 members of this council, and we're having only 4, which has been changed. That's coming from the government side. So we're having 4 nominees coming from government side. We have the Impasse, who is a retired diplomat, and we also have Ms. Hager, and he's a renowned public health practitioner. And the president of the Institute of Engineers, that's Arnold, and also legal practitioner, Quinn. So these are the 4 coming from government side, and you have all the other 11 members who were in the old council. They are still intact. So we haven't the chairman of the president of chairman of TEWU, you have the chairman of UTAG, you have the representatives from NCPE, you have the reps from the CHAS, all of them are present. So nothing has changed for them, but things have changed on the government side. We're having that's Professor Yabua, who used to be the chairman. Now he's no more. We have Nana Ipape, who is now the chairman of the University Council. So that's all I can say with the constitution of the council now.
Have we heard anything from these new persons on the council? Have they been speaking at all?
Look, we weren't able to speak with them. them, that's the government nominees. But we spoke with, of course, the old council, the members of the old council. We spoke with Tew, we spoke with the chairman of Tew, that's Charles Arthur, and he told us that all members returned to post and that the strike is withdrawn. And so tomorrow, when school is officially open for preparation, that's before students come on Friday, we should expect that all bins, which of course filled, will be emptied, and also the mayor of KNUST will be looking clean. So these are the people who will be able to speak with. But for the new members, government nominees will not be able to connect with them.
Okay. Do we know, and I was asking for it a while back, whether or not what went into government's decision to finally agree? Because initially, government said it will not allow what it called old members of that council to remain. Do we know what went into the shift of stance, for example?
Yes, I've been speaking with, as it were, certain government officials, and they told me that government would have remained adamant with its position. So with the initial thing that they made about demanding that they should have new members would have remained, if not the intervention by Asantehene. You see, when this whole thing came up and Asantehene came to intervene, initially you talked about government. If the government would want to change the members, that he has the right to do so, that he can't change the members that he's worked with all these while. Okay. So that is what. So then, whether Asantehene's position wouldn't have to ever change. So it was because Asantehene's position would never change. That's why government would have to let his guard down.
Do we know this for sure, or this is a safe assumption?
This is for sure. Asantehene's words wouldn't have to ever change. These are the things that he said initially.
Right.
So government had no option than to, as it were, see to what the demands of UTAG and also other union leaders.
Okay,
because I think his words would have never changed.
We've listened to some of the persons that you spoke to, and including the UTAG representatives. Are they singing the same chorus? All of them? They're happy about the development so far?
Yes, they're happy. Of course, with the one you spoke with, that is the Secretary of UTAG, Dr. Bodikusi, and he is very grateful that Otumfo said to the second debate, and also government agreeing on the real constitution of the new council. And of course, he talked about academic freedom that he says that is very important for the university's reputation and also survival. So they are very happy. They think it's about time government allow the statutes and acts of universities to work and not be interfering willy-nilly. So these are what they are saying. They are happy that all these have come to an end.
Well, Kwasi, I'll have you hold on for me because we've heard from the UTAG representative, for example, but let's hear from another of the union leaders on this matter. Shortly, but Kwasi, whilst we're at it, the Education Minister, Dr. Matthew Poku-Prempeh, was there. What did he say? Hello, Kwasi, can you hear me?
Yes. Hello.
Certainly. Yes. I'm asking about what the Education Minister has been saying.
Well, when he started his speech, before the whole speech came to fore, I should say that when he was about to swear in the new members, he wanted to swear in the old members also, and Asantehene told him that he can't swear in the old members because they're already there. It's only the new members that he can swear in. So when he began his speech, he talked about the fact that the governing council is there to make sure that everything goes well with the universities, that the students are properly heard and every bit of their concerns are duly addressed. But this is a case where things went awry. So he was saying that, of course, they are supposed to live up to their responsibility, and also the student body, they are going to bear every cost of it. He talked about the SRT.
Now, give us those details. Give us details of that particular submission that he made. How are they going to? Who and how are they going to hold responsible for the destruction of the properties?
Yes, he first mentioned the name of the SRT. Of course, the SRT, that they supervised this whole action, which of course was to be peaceful but turned out to be violent. So with these breakages, with the damage, they are going to make sure that they pay for it.
Okay.
And those are very well that they bear the full cost of damage.
So I take it they're going to spread the cost, you know, for the students to pay?
Yes. So, you know, of course, the SRC has used, and that is where they are first going to rely on the SRC to. And when that is not done, when, of course, that is finished, then they can go on and bill the students. But now they will be relying on the SRC to.
Do we know how much it cost, the distractions? Is there a report to indicate how much it's going to cost to fix them?
Yes. We initially spoke with the PRO of the university, that's there, and he said that it's between 1.6 million Ghana cedis to 1.7 million. So we're talking about 1.6 or 1.7. So that is the initial cost. But they said that they are also going to sit again and review everything, because most of them pass without them noticing. And so if there are chances for them to review, they are going to review them. But for now, it's 1.6, 1.7 million.
Okay. And this amount is going to be spread across for the students to pay.
Absolutely.
Kwasi, hold on for me. Let's take the sound of the union, one of the union members there on the campus.
To tell them that everything has come to an end. As a result of that, they should start work.
Would you say your expectations have been achieved?
Yes, our expectations have been achieved, but one thing that we want to indicate that this was not a fight, this was not a dispute, this was an issue that was being resolved, and there has been a remedy to resolve it. So there is no win-win or win and lose. It's a win-win and it's a lose-lose. If it's a win for everybody. If it is lose, it's a lose for everybody, because it's a state property that all of us were trying to, protect, which by the grace of Almighty God, with the assistance of the President, everybody in Ghana here, we have all protected that situation. So we thank Almighty God. We think that should be the way.
So that's Charles Arthur there. He is the chairman of the TEU on KNUST campus. Kwasi, tell us a bit more about the Vice Chancellor who, remains in position. Did he say anything?
Well, the Vice Chancellor wasn't allowed to speak. The only time I heard the Vice Chancellor, speaking was when, of course, was asked to introduce himself after the other members have introduced themselves. So he wasn't allowed to speak. He only altered some few words, and that is, of course, I'm present, and I'm the Vice Chancellor of KNUST.
Right. What can you say about his demeanor? Because there have been there have been thoughts that this whole process, throughout the process, there's been attempts to get him out of office.
Yes, I must say this, that the perceived attempts were true, at least coming from the hierarchy of the governing NPP in the wake of this impasse. Because we heard many top hierarchies, top brass of the NPP talking about the fact that he should be ousted because he's not working in favor of the governing NPP. And we have heard from our sources telling us that there are a number of resumes or CVs piling up at the presidency for the position of the Vice Chancellor, which was envisioned to be vacant.
I see.
So there were, of course, these were attempts. So coming from the top brass of the NPP and also CVs piling up at the presidency, all of them indicated that the Vice Chancellor
the ceremony. Today at the ceremony, what was his demeanor? Did he look sad? Did he look excited? Did he look relieved?
Initially, when I saw him at the reception of the KNUST, the one which was initially brought down, destroyed, he was laughing. He was smiling, laughing throughout. He was speaking with the authorities, of course, other members of the university council. He was smiling throughout. So it was all smiles throughout, I must say.
Okay. Kwasi, thank you so much for those updates there. Kwasi Deborah was with our sister station Love FM in Kumasi, and he's been following the story and bringing us those updates. Now we can go live to the KNUST campus and speak to the university's relations officer, public relations officer Kwame Yeboah. He's joining us live via video link. Hello, Mr. Eboa. Well, if you can hear me, thank you very much for your time this afternoon here on the show. First of all, take us through what's going to happen from today at the university. Hello, Ms. Ayeboa. Ms. Ayeboa, if you do hear me, I'd like to know, I'd like for you to take us through what is going to happen from today. Let's say between today and perhaps next week.
Well, thank you very much. As you might have heard, and as many Ghanaians have heard, this afternoon around 12 o'clock, the council of the university was inaugurated. The new members of the council nominated by the government were sworn in, and the old members joined them, and it was inaugurated. And the chancellor of the university, who happens to be the Asante, also addressed the council members in the full view of reporters, the media. The Minister for Education inaugurated the council, and in their interaction with all of us and the media, they made us aware of their elatedness, their happiness that the institution is back on track, but also made all of us aware that there was a need to look back to see what did not go well and see how best we can do it better going forward. So between now and Friday, as an institution, we're preparing to receive our students who are supposed to come on Friday, 16th, for lectures to begin on Monday. So if you ask me about what we're doing between now and the days ahead, this is what I have to tell you.
Okay. At the moment, the school is still closed, right? Or can students come in?
Well, they're supposed to come on Friday the 16th. So I wouldn't say that the school is closed down. The council is inaugurated, so we are preparing to receive the students on Friday. We come to work, so the school is not closed as we speak.
Two issues that I want us to talk about. First of all, is about the contentious issue about the conversion of the halls on the campus, as well as the destruction that happened during those demonstrations. First of all, the issue about converting some of those male halls into mixed halls have not been resolved. What is going to happen? Does it mean that it has become the status quo?
Well, at the moment, those issues will be tackled with the coming into being of a 5-member committee to be set up to investigate what led to what happened on the 22nd. And then what we all need to do in order not to see recurrence of such an issue. So I would say we would have to wait for the committee to do its work and then come out with recommendations.
Student went on a rampage was that they said security personnel that you have placed on campus were actually abusing them, physically abusing them on campus. Do we have the same security men on campus at the moment, or have they been changed? Will they even still be there? Is it necessary?
I wouldn't want to go into details of that now, I wouldn't want to go into details now. The Chancellor promised all of us that there is a committee that's going to be put in place to look into all these. But what I can say for now is the university is going to work with the state security to assist with security of everyone on campus. That is what I can say for now. But definitely our security will be around to also assist. But it's not going to be our security alone. The state security is going to assist us in this.
And will they be on campus throughout from now, or how long are they going to be on campus?
The length of time I wouldn't be able to tell, but they will be on campus, and definitely they are not going to be in their full security gear. Definitely we would have some of them, majority of them in plain clothes, in order not to create a situation where our students will not be too comfortable moving around doing their normal work.
Let's talk about the distraction that was caused by students during those demonstrations that they held earlier. We understand it's costing the school about 1.6 million cedis, is that correct? And you intend to recoup that money from the SRC dues?
Yes, that is correct. And the correct means the amount of the cost of the damage, yes. But with regard to the SRC bearing that cost, I wouldn't be able to tell. Once the investigations are conducted and then the results put out there, then the investor will know who is to bear that cost. But for now, nobody has been identified as the one to bear the cost.
Because we understand that the education minister has said something to that effect, that the student will have to bear the cost of the destruction.
Well, possibly I wouldn't want to speak for him, but you know the destruction was on the face, was done by them. But once an investigation hasn't gone on, you cannot say, I cannot say they are going to pay. I wouldn't sit here and say they are supposed to pay. No. He said that. He may have his reasons for saying that. In the course of the rampage, the protest, some of us were of the view that there were some people from elsewhere who were not students who were also involved. So possibly the investigations will bring all these people out. And they might also suffer for whatever they did.
Some people from outside, you mean? How are you able to tell that these persons are not students? How do you know that? And to what extent are you even sure?
Well, the investigations will bring that out. At least we know of a case which is common knowledge of somebody who is a shoemaker from Asafo, who was part of those who were rampaging the whole place. He wasn't alone, there are others. So the investigations will bring all those people out.
But
people were passed in here and all that. We have information to that. So the investigations will bring all these out.
But why would anybody, I mean, want to do that? Why would people, is it that people around the KNUST, your neighbors, are not happy with the school for some reason?
You are making me be the 5-member committee or doing the work of the 5-member committee.
Not necessarily.
These were information we had that some people were bursed in here, and I have colleagues who saw some people. Okay, there are some colleagues who saw their mates who had completed, who were part of the group that was moving around, which an event which was supposed to be for students. We had people who had completed joining them. Some even traveled out to join. So I wouldn't want to do the work of the committee. These are allegations. And today the Chancellor said it. Whatever allegations that are made would have to be proven. So let's wait for the committee to finish its work, and then we'll all know the outcome.
All right, sir. We'll say a very big thanks to you for your time. But completed students and shoemakers, we understand, have been a part of the demonstration that went chaotic. But certainly, we'll be getting some more information on this. We've been speaking to the PRO for the KNUST. Ms. Aibua, thank you very much once again for your time.